If you've been feeling like AI is moving so fast that you can't even keep up anymore, yeah, same. Every week there's a new model, a new update, a new claim that AGI is right around the corner. So let's just slow down for a second and actually figure out what GPT-6 is, what it means, and whether you should care. In this video, we're going to walk through what GPT-6 will probably look like, what it can do that previous models couldn't, and honestly, what it means for people like us. Let's get into it. Where we are right now. Before we jump into GPT-6, let's quickly ground ourselves because the speed of all this is part of what makes it confusing. GPT-3 showed up in 2020 and blew people's minds just by writing coherent paragraphs. GPT-4 landed in 2023 with image understanding and way better reasoning. GPT-5 came in 2025 and brought 400,000 tokens of context and built-in thinking, where the model actually pauses and reasons through harder problems instead of just guessing. And then GPT 5.4 dropped in early 2026 with a 1 million token context window, and the ability to actually use your computer, browse the web, navigate apps, run code. So that's the trajectory. Each version doesn't just get a little better. It gets a fundamentally different kind of better. And that's why GPT-6 is interesting. Because if the pattern holds, it's not just GPT-5 but faster. It could be a different experience entirely. The big headline feature everyone's talking about is persistent memory. Right now, ChatGPT has a basic memory feature. It saves a few facts about you here and there. GPT-6 is expected to go way deeper. Sam Altman has said directly that people want memory. And the idea is that GPT-6 would have an encrypted memory module that actually remembers your past conversations, your preferences, your ongoing projects, and adapts around them over time. Think about the difference between talking to a stranger every single time you open the app versus talking to someone who actually knows your situation. That's the leap we're looking at. On top of that, the context window is expected to push well past 1 million tokens. To put that in perspective, that's enough to hold several full-length books, or an entire company's worth of documentation in a single conversation. It also means GPT-6 could hold a whole codebase in memory while helping you debug one specific file. That's not a chatbot anymore. That's a working partner. The multimodal side is expanding too. GPT-4 could look at images. GPT-5 got better at it. GPT-6 could bring in audio, video, and maybe even sensor data, all processed by the same model. So instead of separate tools for separate inputs, you get one system that understands text, images, sound, and video together. And the reasoning engine is getting smarter about when to think hard and when to respond quickly. So you're not waiting around for simple questions, but you still get deep analysis when you need it. What it can actually do for you. Okay, so that's the tech. But let's be honest, most of us don't care about architecture for its own sake. We care about what changes in our day-to-day. So let's talk about that. If you write code, even casually, GPT-6 could be a pretty big deal. GPT-5 is already OpenAI's best coding model. It handles large projects, builds front-end interfaces, and debugs complex logic. GPT-6 with a 1 million+ token window could hold your entire project in context while you work. Not just the file you're editing, the whole thing. And it's expected to integrate directly with development tools. So the gap between asking AI for help and AI actually helping gets a lot smaller. For analysis and research, GPT-5 already feels like working with a really sharp colleague. That's literally how OpenAI describes it. GPT-6 could push that further into genuine consulting territory. Building financial models, iterating on legal documents, running simulations, even prototyping scientific hypotheses by chaining different tools together. GPT 5.4 already handles financial modeling and legal analysis with record accuracy, so the foundation is solid. The multimodal stuff is where it starts to feel a little sci-fi. GPT-5 scored 84.2% on multimodal benchmarks. GPT-6 might handle actual video, watching a clip, understanding what's happening across frames, and connecting it to other information. Feed it a presentation recording and get back a summary that covers the slides, the speaker's points, and the Q&A. Point it at medical images alongside a patient history and get preliminary analysis. This is the kind of thing that changes entire workflows. And then the personalization piece. Honestly, this might be the feature most of us will notice the most. GPT-6 remembering your name, your preferences, what you've been working on. Adjusting how detailed or brief it is based on how you like to communicate. Pulling from your calendar or documents, with your permission, to give you advice that's actually relevant to your life. It's the difference between a tool and something that genuinely feels like it's working with you. Now, reality check. I don't want to oversell this. Current AI still makes stuff up sometimes. GPT-5 cut hallucinations in half compared to GPT-4, and its thinking mode reduced them by about 6 times. But reduced isn't gone. GPT-6 will be better, but it probably won't be perfect at launch. That's worth keeping in mind. The AGI question. This is the part where everyone gets excited and also a little nervous. Is GPT-6 AGI? Let's look at the numbers first. GPT-5 hit 94.6% on the AME math competition, 88.4% on graduate-level science questions, and 74.9% on a major software engineering benchmark. Those would have been unthinkable a couple of years ago. GPT-6 is expected to push many of those toward near perfect. And here's what's kind of wild. GPT 5.4 scored 83% on the GDP-Val knowledge work benchmark while using 70% fewer tokens than the previous version. So it's not just getting smarter, it's getting more efficient at the same time. But is that AGI? Probably not. Not yet. OpenAI defines AGI as systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work. GPT-5 is already matching or beating experts in roughly half the knowledge work tasks it's been tested on. If GPT-6 expands that to a much wider range of domains, it starts to look close. But real AGI would also need things like autonomous learning, actually improving after deployment, multi-agent collaboration, real-world physical interaction, and genuine self-awareness of its own limitations. Expert forecasts are kind of all over the place. Some tech leaders say 2027. Broader researcher surveys put the median estimate around 2047. The honest answer is nobody really knows. But GPT-6 is going to be one of the biggest data points we've had for figuring out where we actually are on that timeline. What this means for jobs and society. All right, let's talk about the part that actually keeps people up at night. What does a model this capable mean for jobs? The productivity angle is pretty straightforward. If GPT-6 works as expected, knowledge workers in coding, writing, research, marketing, legal, and design could see serious efficiency gains. You'd essentially have a tireless assistant that handles the repetitive and analytical parts of your job while you focus on the creative and strategic stuff. That sounds great on paper, but here's where it gets more complicated. A recent study from Anthropic looked at whether AI is actually causing job losses right now. The answer so far is not really. No clear spike in unemployment among workers in AI-exposed, but there are early signs that hiring is slowing down for younger workers in those fields. So it's not a sudden cliff, it's more of a gradual shift, and GPT-6 could accelerate that shift into areas like content creation, customer support, and even parts of law and medicine. The important thing, and I genuinely believe this, is that this transition doesn't have to be scary if we handle it well. Reskilling programs, smart regulation, and companies being thoughtful about how they deploy these tools all matter. OpenAI's own charter talks about broadly distributing benefits and avoiding concentrated harm. Whether they follow through on that and whether governments create the right frameworks is going to determine how this actually plays out for regular people. On the safety side, OpenAI ran 5,000 hours of red team testing for GPT-5, specifically around biological risk. They built deliberative alignment, training the model on explicit safety policies so it reasons about rules before responding. GPT-6 will need even more of this. Multiple safety layers, submodels checking each other, and customizable confirmation steps for risky actions. Regulation is already moving. The US issued an executive order in late 2025 requiring neutral, transparent AI for government use. The EU's AI Act is classifying powerful models as high risk with mandatory audits. GPT-6 could trigger even stricter requirements. And there's growing discussion about international agreements to prevent reckless competition between companies and countries. But let's be real. No system is perfectly safe. Bad actors will try to use GPT-6 for misinformation, scams, and worse. If GPT-6 stores personal data through its memory feature, the privacy stakes are serious. None of this is simple, and anyone telling you otherwise isn't being straight with you. What if it doesn't live up to the hype? Here's something worth thinking about. There's a very real possibility that GPT-6 doesn't meet expectations. And honestly, that might be okay. If it underdelivers, OpenAI could keep improving the GPT-5 line, a 5.5 or 5.6 that adds memory and fine-tuning improvements without a full generational leap. Or they could lean harder into specialized agents. Instead of one giant model, a team of focused tools that each do one thing really well. And the competitive landscape matters here. Anthropic's Claude already offers a million-token context window. Open-source models are improving fast. Google's Gemini is pushing hard on multimodal. If GPT-6 stumbles, the field doesn't stop. It just diversifies. You might end up with a toolkit of different AI models from different companies instead of one dominant system. And that might actually be healthier for everyone. Either way, the direction is clear. AI is getting more capable, more personal, and more woven into how we live and work. GPT-6 is a big chapter in that story, whenever it arrives. So, that's GPT-6. What we know, what we're guessing, and what it might mean for all of us. No hype, just the real picture as best we can see it right now. I'd love to hear what you think. Are you excited? A little nervous? Both? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where your head is at with all of this. And if you want to keep exploring this stuff together without the clickbait, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.